Hi Big Tractor Power fans, this video comes to you from a freshly harvested soybean field located in western Kentucky, where a 640 engine horsepower John Deere 9RX 640 tractor equipped with 120-inch space tracks is working on fall tillage with a 28-foot 9-inch wide 23 shank LANDOLL 2132 Coulter Chisel running 12 inches deep in the ground, breaking up compaction and preparing the field for corn planting next spring. In this video, I would like to share with you the tractor's specifications, production history, and list price tag, as well as taking you for a ride in the cab of the tractor to visit with the farmer as he tells us what he likes about running this tillage combination. But first, let's head out to the field so that you can see and hear this big tractor at work. The 9RX 640 is the largest tractor offered by John Deere for model year 2023. It's manufactured in Waterloo, Iowa, and was introduced in model year 2021. During its first 2 years of production, it was powered by a 14.9-liter Cummins QSX 912 cubic inch engine. The horsepower ratings of the tractor remain the same for model year 2023, but the power plant was changed to a 13.6-liter John Deere 14X turbocharged aftercooled 6-cylinder 24-valve 827 cubic inch engine rated at 640 engine horsepower, 335 PTO horsepower, and during tough field conditions, the tractor can reach 691 horsepower. This machine is fitted with a 400-gallon diesel fuel tank and has a 31.7-gallon capacity for diesel emission fluid for clean engine solutions. It features a John Deere E18 full power shift transmission capable of traveling from 2.5 up to 25 miles per hour. The 9RX 640 comes standard with 30-inch wide tracks spaced at 87 inches. Customers can order optional 36-inch wide tracks at a cost of $17,751. The track spacing on the 9RX can be widened out to 120 inches at a cost of $21,625. When the machine rolls off the assembly line, it weighs in at 56,320 pounds and can be field weighted all the way up to 66,000 pounds. According to JohnDeere.com, a 2023 standard 9RX 640 tractor's base price is $902,124. When it's ordered with 36-inch tracks at the 120-inch spacing, like the one operating in this video, the price tag increases to $941,500. This 9RX tractor is working with a LANDOLL Coulter Chisel to break up compaction following double crop soybeans. The field was initially in winter wheat that was harvested in June, and a second crop of soybeans was no-tilled in right behind the combines. Those soybeans were harvested in October, and that causes a lot of traffic to cross the field throughout the year, compacting the soil from tractors, planters, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. The LANDOLL Corporation has been building farm equipment for 60 years. It was founded by Don LANDOLL, who started the Quick Service Welding Company on December 16, 1963. One of the first products manufactured was a barge wagon, and in 1968, chisel plows were added to the line. LANDOLL became popular and well-known with farmers for manufacturing Coulter chisels for conservation tillage back in the 1970s. The current 2100 series from the company includes 9 different models ranging from 11 feet 3 inches up to 31 feet 3 inches, equipped with 9 to 25 shanks depending on the width of the implement. The Model 2132 working in this video is the second largest Coulter chisel available from LANDOLL. It's 28 feet 9 inches wide, equipped with 23 shanks spaced at 15 inches apart in a staggered pattern to allow residue flow through the implement. It has a clearance of 32 inches and is equipped with 22-inch disc blades on the front for sizing residue that are spaced at 7.5 inches apart. This implement's 47 disc blades are helpful in slicing through and cutting up corn stalks. When it's working in ground that was in soybeans, there's not a lot of residue left that needs to be sized, and the disc blades are put in the up position to save on wear and tear. The 2132 can be set to dig down up to 15 inches in the ground. It can be ordered with rigid shear bolt shanks or auto reset with 1,750 pounds of point load. The newly redesigned 2100 series can now be fitted with a combination of tine and chopping leveling attachments. The combination attachments features 3 rows of hard surface laser stitch coil tine teeth placed on 4-inch overall centers behind the shanks of the implement. The 5-bladed 16-inch diameter chopping reel is spring cushioned and can be hydraulically raised out of the ground. A 23-shank LANDOLL 2132 has a list price of $149,665. When the combination finishing tools with the tines and chopping reel are ordered, customers will pay an additional $27,595. As the LANDOLL goes across the field, it's working in double crop bean residue, which means these are second crop soybeans planted after winter wheat. So you have a lot of winter wheat stubble out here, residue from the beans and the wheat. It's doing a nice job in breaking up the compaction in the field, digging down, but also that chopping reel does a nice job as we look across the future seedbed for next year's corn crop, just breaking up those clumps and kind of tamping down the residue and pinning it into the soil in that chopping action, and this will make a nice field to begin planting corn in next March. I'm up in the cab of the 9RX 640, and it's working its way across the field here with the LANDOLL chisel plow. Doing a nice job working up the ground. And I'm here with Neil the farmer, and it's always great to have a chance to ride along and learn a little bit more about what you're doing out here. And the tractor is running at just over 6.5 miles per hour. So Neil, new tractor for you this year. You've had the 9620RXs, and those were great tractors. You were one of the first farms here in Western Kentucky to get one way back in 2016. So how do you like the 640?
Well, Jason, it's good to see you. Yeah, I really like the 640. This has the new Deere engine, and it's really a torquey engine, and it really, I've been very impressed with it. It really, you know, I think it has more torque curve maybe than the Cummins did, even though it's not as many cubic inch. But I don't know if you noticed, but we got the wide track spacing on this tractor too, and I really like the way it rides and pulls. We added some extra weight to it. It has suitcase weights on the front, and we put idler weights on each idler wheel to help, you know, hold it to the ground, because we were getting a little slippage in years past. But man, it really pulls good, and really do like the tractor. really nice. Probably the best riding track tractor we've had.
Well, that's really interesting to hear, because you've had you had the 9R starting in 2012, and always the big ones with the Cummins engines, and this is 23 is the first year for this Deere engine and the 640. Interesting to hear the comparison.
Yeah, it's been a very impressive machine so far. There's not much I don't like about it, really. I mean, it's roomier cab, and just seems like Deere has really done their homework and really got a nice machine here.
So on the track system, what tracks are you running on this?
It's got the 36-inch belts spaced out, like I said, on the 120-inch spacing. And what I like about that, Jason, it gives us a little more room, like to work on the engine compartment. If you're servicing the tractor, you can get in there, and no trash builds up hardly as bad around between the tracks and the frame. So it gets you out wide, it gives you a more stable feel, and it just really, I think, improves the ride. I guess the only negative would be moving up and down the road. You know, it's a little wider, but typically most of the equipment we're pulling is wide anyway, so it's not really that big a deal. But yeah, I like the 36-inch belts and like them out wide like this. It's kind of makes it almost a different tractor the way it rides and pulls, it feels like. So especially with all the extra weight we put on it.
Do you find that it turns any smoother or rides any smoother with the width? I know when you have a 2-track high horsepower tractor, that 120-inch usually smooths
Yeah,
out the
I
ride.
think it does. I don't know if you can tell sitting in here, but I think it really smooths it up all the way around. If you go over something rough, it feels like it smooths it up. Turning on the end, I think it's a lot smoother, and I wouldn't say it hardly rides as good as a tire machine, but it rides good. Now, if you're crossing ditches or running over plowed ground, I think it is smoother than a tire machine for sure. But yeah, I really like the way it rides, and it probably doesn't translate over on the camera there, but it is just a really smooth machine.
Well, it's definitely a nice ride, and we're turning around here, heading on the next pass. And another new addition, you've been running Coulter Chisels for several years, but just switched over to LANDOLL. How have you liked this implement?
We really like it. It's a 23 shank, opposed to, I think we had a 19 shank, Great Plains, and it's a little wider. Probably not hardly pulling it as deep as the Great Plains, but I feel like we're getting in the ground 12 to 13 inches deep with this, and we're not running a typical twisted shovel, we're running a wing point. So that allows us to bust up, compaction, and we may not be getting hardly down as deep as, say, a inline ripper would be or a V-ripper, but I think we're doing a good job busting compaction, and we try to run this tool over our corn ground that will be the first planted. That way it helps it warm it up in the spring, and we don't have as much residue out there to contend with. But I really like the job it's doing, and of course it pulls hard. You can tell as we go up these hills with this 640, it'll pull the RPMs down, but it really seems like it's doing a good job and leveling the ground good. And I've got rolling baskets on hydraulics, so I can click a remote there if I decide I don't want to run my rolling baskets and lift them up and leave it a little rougher. And I do that some, in certain situations. That way, we don't get any washing or anything as bad. Sometimes I run them, sometimes I don't, but it's a really nice tool.
No, it looks like, just looking out the back here, it's got a nice width, well matched the tractor. I know, people look like, 20 feet, you should have 40 feet back there, but this tractor knows it's back there. It's well matched, but it's still giving it a workout.
Yeah, here in southern Kentucky, our soils are a lot different than they are in the Midwest. We've got a lot of red clay and just some hard spots in these fields. So yeah, it's a good match for this tractor. I wouldn't want anything any bigger for sure, especially as deep as we're going.
So how many acres an hour are you working with this setup?
I'm doing right now, it's showing now, I'm pulling up a hill and I've slowed down a little, but this is an average. So I'm doing about 22.2 acres an hour average. It'll get up as high as 27 or 8, and as low as say 18 or 19, depending on how hard the ground is. But I can cover some pretty good ground with this. 22 acres an hour is not terribly bad, I don't think. So really happy with the job it's doing.
Well, that's good. And it's getting the power right here coming up these hills.
Yeah, you can tell I pulled down to 1,750 RPMs, so you can see how hard this hill is right here. And you see there, it picks back up when it gets off the hill, so it's a big difference in our soil types around here.
How is the fuel efficiency on a big tractor like this doing heavy tillage? Or
You know, it does pretty good. I could probably pull it up there, but I can run a full tank of fuel will last about 14 or 15 hours on this thing. So, you know, and it probably, I don't know, you probably know what's it hold 400 gallons of fuel.
It does,
So,
yeah.
you know, it's probably a gallon and a half per acre that it's using. But, you know, as deep as we're pulling this tool and as much compaction as we're busting up, I don't feel that that's necessarily that bad. I think that's pretty fuel efficient, really, you know. So.
no, and that's a compaction because you had wheat out here in June. Then you have the beans coming off that were planted right after the combines.
Yes, we have wheat that we go over multiple times with a sprayer. Have beans we go over multiple times. So there is a lot of compaction out here. And I think this helps assist with the freezing and thawing that we get to, you know, kind of help loosen the soil up. So.
Very good. Well, I appreciate the ride along. It's a cool tractor and tillage implement to see working out in the field.
Yeah, glad you could come.
Thank you.
I hope that you've enjoyed spending some time out in the field with and riding up in the cab of the John Deere 9RX 640 tractor working with the LANDOLL Coulter Chisel on fall tillage. I would like to hear in the comment section below this video if you complete fall tillage on your farm. Tell me about the tractor and implement that you're running. If you have appreciated this video, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to Big Tractor Power YouTube, where there's over 2,000 videos of farm machines in action. If you would like to see additional content from the channel featuring fall tillage, continue to watch for a few more seconds to the end screen for a direct link to 2 more Big Tractor Power YouTube videos. As always, thank you for watching.